Gaming project. So in this short video, I'll be doing my review of Layla, who was the newest character up to 3.2, four-star character. So I haven't done it earlier because I actually didn't get her until like maybe a week ago. So I've been using her and leveling her up, etc. She's been very hard to get. I think a lot of players also felt that from my comments and my Discord. Yeah, I pulled on the banner for 60 times, singles, here in between, not on stream, of course. Just whenever I saved up some wishes, I would just throw it at the banner and hope to get her because I want at least one copy so that I could do this review and, test her out and stuff. So anyway, I finally got her at 60, so I stopped there. So I'm in good position to try to get Pity later tonight for Scaramouche's debut. So anyway, stay tuned for that. But let's just get started and do a quick review of her. So I didn't level her up beyond 80, but I did bring her up to 80. Sometimes I leave four-star characters at 70 only. But because she's a shielder and she scales off of HP, I figure I'll go to 80. I'm not going to further ascend her. And then in terms of her stats, I'll just give it here. Right now, I'm giving her the Jade Cutter, and I'll talk about that. But I'm actually I'm just gonna say that she doesn't need it in the sense that we'll talk about that here actually. So I gave her the Jade Cutter, and as you can see, the passive works for her because it's HP scaling for her, but it gives her the crit rate, which is fine. No one else is using this Jade Cutter because I have an extra copy. As you may recall, I pulled it a few patches ago or a last patch, and yeah, I'm happy with it. But I was leaving this extra Jade Cutter for Nilu or other sword HP scalers, but because we have Layla now, so I gave it to her for now. Now, the weapon that I was actually going to give her was going to be the Amanoma. No one's using it right now. And, good for energy purposes, so that she can proc her burst more often for the passive has energy. I did not bother to level up another Favonius for her because I'm just going with what I already have, right? That's leveled up that no one's using. That's why. But yeah, definitely energy is her main thing. Her skill is not such a big deal because it does last pretty long. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. But of course, if you have Nilu's signature weapon, then that's actually her best in slot. But I don't know that anyone's going to give that to Layla versus giving it to Nilu. So I've already talked about weapon options for Layla in a separate video, so do check that out for more in-depth, but this is meant to be quick. And then for her weapons, for her artifact set, I've decided to go with the 4-piece Tenacity. Now, I also went and farmed it a little bit more because I figured it's okay to have extra pieces for other HP scalers in the future, such as when I get a Nilu. I don't have her. Nilu is the only character I'm missing because I chose to skip her. So, these are just the stats on there. But yeah, if you don't have all 4 pieces, that's totally fine. Just make it a 2-piece, Tenacity if you have that, plus HP scaling pieces for the Sands, the Goblet, and the circlet if possible. She won't really benefit from the crit and attack, to be very honest, because she doesn't do very high damage, and that's just the reality. I have her at C0. Like I said, it was very hard just to get one copy of her. But at C1, her shield becomes stronger, basically. The absorption becomes stronger, and resistance becomes stronger, etc. C2, she'll restore some energy. C3 is +3 levels for her skill, I believe. I think that's what is it? Yes, for her skill. And then C4, for her skill, she'll just fire off the star, which is like the damage from it, and the damage will increase, etc. based on her max HP. C5 is going to be 3 levels for her burst, and then lastly C6. When you shoot stars from her skill, then you have increased damage, and then when the starlight slugs, which is also basically the stars that come from the little astrology tentacle setup that she has, then yeah, you're going to have further decreased interval, so cooldown. Yeah, and then talent-wise, I left her at 666. Her normals, you can just leave it at level 1, honestly, but I just wanted to do it for completion's sake for 666. And then this is going to be, these two, her skill and her burst, are basically the majority of her damage. We already know that her skill is basically her shield, so you want to get her HP as high as possible to benefit from that, especially for early players in this game. If you don't have Zhongli, because currently Layla will be the second best shielder in the game, beating out Toma and Diona. Depending on your setup, of course. Diona is still cool because at least Diona can heal. Toma can do some reactions now, especially now that there's some buffing happening with the Dendro and rebalancing and all that stuff. But Toma is still not as popular as I think Diona and now Layla, right? And of course, waifus are always more popular. And then this will do some skill, some AOE, CRYO, and some, tick damage, but it's not really that strong. So none of her things are really that strong. So that's why I wouldn't say that she's like a super heavy duty, great character to have, but definitely she's a good character to have nonetheless. Okay, and then lastly, these passive abilities here. So yeah, like while her Cushion of Slumber is active, then basically she'll have more shield strength, etc. And with stacks, right? The Cushion of Slumber, I believe, is part of this. Yes, it's part of the skill. So yeah, and then the last one here, when you're shooting stars from the burst, then you increase the damage based on her max HP, and then lastly, when she's crafting talent materials, you get double the product potentially. Yeah, so let's just do this quickly. I'm just gonna set this up. We're gonna use Kokumi here just to like break the shield, of course, and then we'll switch to Layla. Layla will do her shielding, and then we'll go from there. And then now Layla will not be able to, as you can see, she can't do really a lot of damage here, right? So even when you see the different tick damages and the different cryos, she won't be able to kill this, right? So that's why I brought in someone else like Ayaka. Now, the point is that Layla will be a great support for other cryo characters and hydro characters to do freeze, for example. Yeah, so just putting that out there. Because, at least with cryo, like double cryo, you can have the elemental resonance, right? So then there's always that aspect. And then, of course, the extra energy that you can get from getting particles of the same kind, etc. So yeah, I wouldn't say that Layla is a must-pull unit, but it's a nice to have nonetheless. But I wouldn't go too hard and heavy for her. As you can see, even with a Jade Cutter, the damage was really low. So that's why I was saying, like, in that case, it's probably better just to give her a 4-star weapon. Or in some cases, even a 3-star weapon, because her damage is not really her thing. Her selling point is really just the shield and the cryo aspect for elemental resonance, in my opinion. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you guys got her, or maybe you skipped her. But anyway, stay tuned for more from me, and I'll be doing a few more videos before, as you can see, the maintenance begins for my server in North America, and then we'll be waiting for Scaramouche's debut for version 3.3 coming up. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much, and we'll see you